na kung mapatunayan nga na nagbigayan ng pera, that's an illegal activity. So, bawal yun.
So,
ito na, breaking news. Viral na video ng signature buying umabot na pala kay Presidente Bongbong Marcos. At sa isa nga na press conference sa Senado, nilinaw ni Senador Migs Zubiri na kung totoo nga na may nangyayaring bayaran kapalit ng 100 to 200 pesos na pirma, abay bawal yan. Naku po, kung sino man ang babae na nasa video, abay kabahan ka na ate. At isa pa, ang congressman na nasa likod ng nasabing signature buying ito daw ay isang malinaw at maliwanag pa sa sikat ng araw na isa itong panlilin lang sa taong bayan. Maliwanag na panlilin lang sa tao ang paliwanag o sinasabi ng nagsasalita sa video para maghikayat ng mga tao para pumirma. Dahil sa video na nag-viral, pinapaliwanag ng babae na nagsasalita kung ano ang mangyayari, kung ano ang mga benepisyo na makukuha nila kapag pipirma sila sa People's Initiative ng mga pinapakalat na papel. Bakit po ginagamit pa yung tupak-tupak na yan? Di po ba noong pandemic time sa mga OFW na napauwi, yun wala namang bigay sa amin. Dating OFW na affected. Tapos ngayon, ginagamit naman ng mga mayor kung hindi botante sa kanila ay hindi bibigyan. Ganun ba gayon? Yung pinapirmahan sa barangay namin ay ayuda daw iyon at yung pirma katunayan na nakatanggap ng ayuda sa barangay, walang sinasabing People's Initiative. Yes po, dito sa Davao, marami silang pinapirma tapos kunin ang precinct number mo tapos sabi nila tupad daw ng PBA party list ni Migs Nograles. Ngayon, iba ang sinasabi nila, long term daw na mga barangays, baka yun na yun, Chacha sa Pasay. Iba ang sinasabi ng mga nagpapapirma, ang sabi, pirmahan nyo to para mabilis ang ayuda nyo, wala daw na malinaw na paliwanag.
Away from the plan of the PI na ikapon kami. Happy po silang lahat na ang sinabi ng Pangulo na dapat dito na tayo sa ganitong klaseng proseso. Hindi po yung sa gusto ng People's Initiative na yan, na EDSA Puera, na gusto nilang ikapon ang Senado at magkakaroon po ng mga posibleng amendments na hindi po natin makokontrol bilang Senado. Because you have to remember that the gist of this proposal ay pagdating po ng isang constituent assembly which can be called by either one, hindi joint. Either one can call for this. Ay 3/4 vote lamang ang kailangan. So I did a simple computation. Kung 300 congressman yun at 24 senators, that's 324. Technically, 3/4 vote is only 243. So maski na po mag-walk out po tayo, maski na po absent kami, they can amend the Constitution and we can no longer protect the people's interest in the system of checks and balances that we are, which is enshrined by the Constitution through a bicameral form of government. So
we need 16, but we really only have 13 for now. Is that
no, we need a total of 18 votes when it comes to amending, kasi 2/3 ang 16, 3/4 is 18.
Sir, pumayag po si the Speaker na mas-sever lang po sa economic provisions yung any amendment.
Well, ang binabanggit niya palagi, dyan lang naman siya gustong mag-amend dahil sa economic provisions. According to him, officially in front of me. I don't want to put any words in the Speaker's mouth. I would rather that you ask the Speaker himself on his position on this matter.
Was it clear na he's speaking for the 300 members of the House of Representatives during their meeting? Nandun
din naman si Sandro. So Sandro is a senior deputy majority floor leader, and I believe the message was loud and clear. I hope that the message was loud and clear.
sir,
So
SP, isundan ko lang yung kay Marlon. During that meeting, was there a commitment given by Speaker Romualdez na they will not support in any other way yung PI? Because according to Pirma, they are working on this, on the PI, in coordination with the Congress.
I no longer want to fight with my colleagues in Congress. 1 week po ako hindi nakakatulog. Kaya hindi rin ako nakakasagot sa inyo dahil may inaayos po tayong gusot, and we were able to get consensus from everyone, including the President. I think those questions about the Speaker should be asked to the Speaker.
Was there a how can you guard the eventual proposal of other members of, for example, Senate with respect to, kasi sabi nyo nga po economic provision lang, pero syempre independent minded naman ng mga senators, and some really want some political amendments.
Well, ang mangyayari dyan, my dear colleagues, when discussions on, for example, if you see the resolution that we will file today, nakapirma na kaming tatlo, if you see the resolution that we file today, it's limited to yung amendments to public services, as well as education, and as well as advertising. We got the guide from the President. I hope that the President will not be upset if I share this information. Pero si President mismo ayaw niya ng lupa na ibigay sa foreigners. Siya mismo nagsabi, malabo yun. He said that, and I quote the President, this will give us problems in our housing program. It will increase tax rates and it will increase prices of land in the Philippines. And he even cited some countries kung saan na may foreign ownership na yung mga mismong locals ay hindi na po nakaka-afford ng lupa doon at lumalabas na, kaya na nagkakaroon ng Asian hate dahil may mga areas like Vancouver, Toronto, in Canada wherein a lot of Chinese, Hong Kong nationals pumunta doon, binili lahat ng property. Yung mga Canadians na original na lumalabas na, hindi na nila ma-afford yung lupa tsaka apartments doon sa mga lugar na yun. So we like to thank the President for that, because we are one in the Senate also not to agree on foreign land ownership. So maganda, meron po siyang direksyon na sinabi, keep away land from ownership.
Sir,
and even media, sabi niya, ayaw din niya ng media kasi kung may foreign ownership of media, baka mag-influence peddling pa yan dito on certain agendas. So ayaw din yan po yun. So we're limiting it as far as the Senate is concerned, that Thursday night discussion, we're limiting it to the scope of the Public Services Act, education, because we feel, lahat po kami naniniwala, na bakit hindi makapasok ang Harvard dito, ang Yale, ang Stanford. Pwede naman sila mag-set up po ng eskwelahan dito. They do it in Singapore, they do it in other countries. So we should allow them para ang tumas naman ang dekalidad ng ating edukasyon. And of course, we're limiting it to these three right now.
Sir, two more questions lang,
Yeah po.
sir.
Tapusin ko naman si Chair and then-
sorry, Marlon, sandali. Sir, so pumayag doon si Speaker na in the first place, aware si Speaker na merong ganitong resolution, and he agreed na at the end of the day, they will just vote according to your version, ganun po.
That was the agreement that we had made in Malacanang on the 11th of January at 4 p.m.
Sir, last question.
So yan yung agreement po namin, and I hope all parties will agree, and we thank the President for that, because ang totoo dyan talaga magkakaroon ng constitutional crisis. Hindi po talaga papayag. Alam mo, lahat ng mga kasamahan ko atat na umatake, at sabi ko sa kanila, pag lumaban tayo, there's a point of no return, kasi kung magkakainitan ng dugo ang House and Senate, paano natin may papasa yung mga batas natin? Kung ayaw mo makipag-usap sa congressmen, how do we do the BICAMs, the bicameral conferences? How do we do our LEDAC? Magkakagulo, masyado mainit. So, ang talo dyan ang taong bayan. So, I had to keep a cooler head, and even if it was very difficult for me not to say anything about this issue, we wanted to find a win-win solution that would limit the impact in terms of constitutional crisis with both houses of Congress.
Sir, one last question from my end. Is this going to be a priority? Is it going to be prioritized?
It will be a priority by the Senate as far as we're concerned. Only on economic provisions, napakaklaro yan. We will have public hearings. And in these public hearings, we will have debates. And as you said, kung meron man propose ng controversial dito sa Senado, term limits or removal of term limits or change of government, I'm sure the members of the committee, the subcommittee, or kung gusto ng ating mga kababayan, gawin natin na committee on the whole to be presided by myself and Senator Angara, we can put it on a vote. And obviously, 18 votes at each time. Sa committee level, para paglabas na committee report, that was voted upon by 3/4 of the members, yung final committee report, and then we'll put it in plenary and make a vote on again for 18 votes or for 3/4 vote. Well, I cannot predict what my colleagues would be saying, but I think the simpler the amendment, the easier to get 18 votes from my colleagues.
Sir,
was there any discussion on political reforms, particularly term limits, lifting of term limits, and then change of...
Wala naman. Wala naman. Kasama ni Pangulo, wala naman.
And by filing this resolution, SP, is it that an admission na may defect, may constitutional defect, yung amendment sa PSP?
Because my eyes were open because we had a meeting with Frederick Go, yung kanyang officer or the presidential assistant for his economic team. And we spoke also to several other businessmen. Natatakot sila. Kasi kaya nga maraming pledges, hindi pa natutuloy po yung pledges is because whenever they speak to their legal team here, yung mga Filipino lawyers, meron pang pending sa Supreme Court. So, sayang naman, no, napakasayang kung 1.1 trillion nga ang pledges ng mga dayuhan na mag-set up ng mga businesses dito, bakit naman natin sila atsapuera? Ay pupunta lamang yan sa Vietnam, pupunta lamang yan sa Thailand, sa iba't ibang bansa, kawawa naman ang Pilipinas. So, we listen to the pulse of the public and also the business sector para sa ganun ay makapasok talaga at magkaroon ng legacy and legacy projects and investments in the country.
Sir?
It is not, I'd like to say that iba kasi yung panahon noon, iba yung panahon na yun. I think when we passed the 1987 Constitution, it was not effective because at that time, all countries at that time were looking inward, di ba? Nationalistic ang tendency noon, nung 1980s. Ngayon po, globalized na yung economy natin. And by doing this, definitely erases all doubts na gusto po natin ng foreign investments na pumasok sa ating bansa.
And sir, with this resolution, malilimit lang sa talaga doon sa education, economic, and wala na yung possibility na yung term extension. Kasi yun yung usual na inaano nila.
Suicide yun para sa amin. No one, wala, vehement ang objection ng mga kasama ko on this topic. So, we limit it to economic, as what we promised the President. We limit it to economic provisions, and we'll be discussing on economic provisions on this particular Senate resolution.
And that hopefully will put to rest the PI, the People's Initiative efforts sa ground.
Well, sana po. Sana po yan ang mangyari. Yan ang kagustuhan din ng Pangulo. So, of course, the question now will be with our colleagues in the House of Representatives.
Sir, sabi ang initially po sir, 'di ba, re-reviewin po ng subcommittee ang economic provisions ng Constitution. And then eventually magko-convert po ba Congress to Constituent Assembly kasi dinidiscuss niyo na po yung 18 votes which
Hindi
is
na.
2/3 na
Dito
requirement.
na lang kami boboto. Yan ang usapin namin sa Malacanang. We will be here, we will pass this, 18 votes dito, and we will submit it to the House.
Yung
And then
kagaya po,
if they, ang gusto ng ating Pangulo ay adapt na lang po ng House of Representatives. Na kung hindi po i-adapt ng House of Representatives, magkaka-impasse po tayo.
so same route sir ng pinagdaanan po ng Public Services Act.
It is it will be like a bill, but 3/4 vote. We will deliver 3/4 vote of the Senate.
Yes, sir. And then, sir, dun sa meeting po, nag-agree, sir, si Speaker na nag-agree po dito si Speaker Romualdez. Sir, kasi sir, ang sabi ni Senator Amy Marcos kahapon, it seems na siya yung nasa likod ng People's Initiative kasi yung mga directives nanggagaling sa mga staff niya. So sir, dun po ba una sir, may admission po ba na siya yung nasa likod ng People's Initiative, and after that meeting, clear po ba na wala na, matitigil na tong mga pag-ikot-ikot po para sa pirma?
You know what will happen if I answer that, di ba? Magkakagera kami ng house. So, I suggest that you ask sino yung counterpart mo sa house? Di ba?
Si Isa sir.
Si Cesar. Tanong mo lang si Cesar na mag...
SP, di ba, under the Constitution, very specific yung mode altering the Constitution. Correct me if I'm wrong, yun nga, yung sinasabi ni Constitutional Assembly, yung PONCON, and then yung PI. So, by doing that, sir, kung parang same lang siya sa legislative yung process ng pagpasa ng isang bago.
It's just a name. Actually, parang... it's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a name, which is Constituent Assembly. Even Senator Frank Drilon, the former Senate President, the former Minority Leader, had given this proposal na it can be done that way. We don't have to meet in one place to come up with a Constituent Assembly. As far as they're concerned, and this was also discussed in one of the committee hearings by, I think, Father Bernas and some other constitutionalists, that it can be done that way. So we can meet here, pass the resolution, 3/4 vote. They can meet there, pass the resolution as well, 3/4 vote. Pero kung magkaiba, yan ang problema, hindi magkaka-impasse, hindi po mapapasa yung constitutional reform. But if they adopt the Senate version, then wala tayong problema. 3/4 vote of both houses. So
SP, sorry.
we maintain that's the best way, that's the best mode, that is the path of least resistance in terms of debates and I'd say heated debates and possible difficult scenarios that may happen if we meet together. So, pumapayag din si Speaker niyan. So, walang problema.
Sir, yung pulso lang, sir, ng mga kasamahan niyo sa Senado, yung 3/4 votes, sir, coming from the Senate President, kayo po yung confident yung makukuha niyo yun kung economic provisions lang yung gagalawin sa Constitution?
As far as the people that I've spoken to, I believe makakuha tayo ng 3/4 vote. Yung mga kausap natin, yung 13, plus yung mga kasama namin nung the day before, mga tumawag sa akin, parang makakuha po tayo ng 3/4 vote. Limited to only economic provisions, particularly these few that I had mentioned already.
Sorry, SP, tama ba? You were made aware of this People's Initiative just this year? When it
Nalaman ko
broke
lang
sa
last
news.
Friday.
Yeah, pero ba't di ba may timeline na binigay si Senator Amy Marcos?
Alam mo, to
but-
answer your question, nabulaga ako.
Okay.
Last Friday ko lang nalaman. Not this Friday, the Friday, what day was that? Friday? 6? 5 or 6?
Okay.
January 5 ko lang nalaman. I was in Cagayan de Oro doing some work there, and nakuha ko yung litrato, pinadala sa all members page ni Senator Chis Escudero, yung litrato ng People's Initiative question.
Okay.
Doon ako nabulaga.
Pero sir, why did the BICAM approve nearly 12 billion increase sa COMELEC budget under plebiscite planned this year, when in fact, wala naman tayong gaanong scheduled plebiscite for this year?
Well, we were told that that budget was for purchasing of machines. Kasi wala na yung Smartmatic, di ba? Disqualified sila. So, akala po natin para sa election ng 2025 yun. Kasi kailangan mo ng at least 1 year before bago mo bilhin yung machines. Di ba? Kasi election na eh. Pagdating ng 2025, we only have 4 months to go before elections. So we thought it was the preparations for the 2025 elections. But remember that it didn't come from us. Hindi galing sa, wala sa NEP yan, wala sa GAA. Hindi kami nagpo-post yan. So that's supposed to be for elections of 2025. And I believe sa Chairman George Garcia naglabas na ng pahayag today or kahapon na, or today, rather this morning, nagagamitin daw nila yan for the 2025 elections. Yes, guys.
Can I just clarify lang, sir? During the meeting, sir, meron bang categorical order from the President to stop the PI? Kasi apparently ang discussion among congressional leaders lang. How about yung mga private group na gusto pa rin mag-initiate ng ganong PI?
The President maintained his position that this is divisive. The President maintained that position. I hope that the people who are listening would be able to get that the body language of the President. On stopping the move, well, I don't want to. Let's ask the Speaker and his lieutenants in the House of Representatives, all those who have spoken out, because according to the Speaker in that meeting, moot and academic na daw yung PI kung pag-usapan daw natin dito sa Senado itong economic provisions. Kung totoo lang, economic provisions lang gusto nila. So, only economic provisions. So, sabi ni Speaker, moot and academic daw yun. But I'd rather that you ask him what his opinion after we file this today and after the reading of my statement.
Even sir, sa side ni Speaker, walang categorical or commitment na, okay, we'll stop without admission.
Well, sabi nga niya, it's moot and academic once this is filed and discussed. So, I don't know, I don't want to add information that I have no control of. So, best na sa grupo na lang ninyo sila tanungin.
Sir,
pero I just want to put on record, they can always call up the Speaker, they can always call up Congressman Sandro Marcos, who was there in the meeting. They can always call up SAP Secretary Anton Lagdameo, who was also there in the meeting.
Sir, paano magkakaroon ng ganong commitment about the PI si Speaker when the content of the PI is actually to dilute the voting powers of the Senate? So paano yung relationship ng ng dalawang moves, if that's the case?
Tanungin mo na lang si Speaker. I don't want to guess the relationship. I don't want to guess where the orders are coming from. As far as I'm concerned, I'd like to avoid a constitutional crisis between the House and the Senate because it will paralyze our legislation. It will just paralyze all legislation pending. Sayang naman. Sayang naman ang mga mahalagang panukala para sa ating taong bayan.
Sir, sorry, konting explanation lang.
Sure.
Bakit po tingin niyo magiging constitutional crisis pag pinush yung PI?
Because obviously we will fight. We will fight. The Senate will fight tooth and nail not to allow that. It will be a very divisive campaign. Obviously, including all the way to the Supreme Court. We're ready to file a petition. All the way to the campaigning of this referendum, all the way to of course, it starts with the COMELEC. We will file opposition to the COMELEC. Of course, we will file a petition to the Supreme Court and fight it tooth and nail. But if there's a compromise such as this, and they decide to just back out because according to the Speaker, it's moot and academic, then we welcome that as well. That will be a more peaceful, more productive, more proactive way of dealing with the economic provisions without having to na hindi makakapo ng Senado at dahil sa pagkapo ng Senado kung ano-ano pang pwedeng ilabas sa ganung klaseng initiative. So, I think this is the win-win solution that we're all looking for.
Sir, sorry po ulit. May categorical na sagot, may categorical na agreement mula kay Speaker na pag natapos nyo dito yung version ng inamend na constitution, i-adapt na lang nila. Pumayag siya doon, sir.
Sarap ng Pangulo, sabi niya, okay. I don't know what he'll say. Best is you ask him, but best is you ask him. I don't want to put words in his mouth.
What if in front of BBM, he said okay sa adoption, sir?
I'd rather that you ask him. I don't want to put words in his mouth and he'll deny saying that. Siguro tanungin niyo na lang siya. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Pero we were happy, yung kalalabasan ng meeting na yan, happy po yung side ng Senado.
Sir, tama po ba? You will meet again with Speaker? after this? Or in
Well, he's
the
waiting
days?
for my statement. So I've given my statement today. Hinihintay niya lang yung statement ko bago siya mag-statement. So I'll wait for his statement as well.
Sir, balita ko, yung meeting was initiated by you with the President and the Speaker.
The second meeting was initiated by the President. Sabi niya, magkita tayo Thursday.
Yung first meeting, ikaw.
Yung first meeting ako, kasi I wanted to seek guidance. Ano ba ito? Ano ba tong PI na to?
And what was yung content, yung pwede lang namin alamin, nung first meeting that he...
Yung tayo-tayo lang? Yung hindi tayo live?
Oo. yung content ng first meeting that the President see the need to...
No, he was concerned. He was concerned. On the first meeting we had, concerned si Pangulo kung saan patungo ito. Concerned siya. But I can't give the details kasi it was privileged information. Nandun kami sa bahay niya. So,
Second, tinawag nila para mas madami.
sabi niya para maayos na natin itong gusot na ito. In fairness to the President, he's trying to find ways na hindi madagdagan ang gusot ng pagtakbo ng ating pamahalaan para sa ating taong bayan. So, he was just trying to find ways na hindi magkakagulo. Imagine if everyday toxic masyado yung mga salita namin sa news. Mga tao, of course, it will look like a divided nation. If every day in the news, nagsisigawan, nagmumurahan po tayo dyan. So, even investors would be afraid to come in.
Sir,
Wait, si ano muna? Nauna po si Marlon. Okay.
SP, previously you were very adamant in your position against judge. Anong deal changer this time?
I was never adamant. But let's put this on the record. I've said it many times. There is a need to amend certain provisions of the Constitution. But I've said that possibly now is not the time because of the important matters at hand. But after meeting the economic teams and the business groups they're saying that their biggest concern nga is dahil sa kaso sa Supreme Court na hindi pa natatapos with finality, natatakot pa rin sila pumasok dito. Bigyan ko kayo ng halimbawa. You're a company who wants to deal with telecommunications. Under the PSA, pwede na po yan 100% owned. Pumasok sila dito, bilhin nila yung PLDT for example, yung mga magagaling na kumpanya, let's say yung sa Japan, yung magandang company dyan, yung Docomo ba yan o ganun, pasok sila dito. And they give us 100% service. Happy lahat ng tao. They spend billions of dollars. Tapos sabihin ng Supreme Court, unconstitutional. You have to just have only 40%. You have to sell 60%. Eh, sino ba naman hindi masisiraan ng ulo dyan? So, any businessman would not want to put up major infrastructure here and investments if that is that is the pending case or there is a pending case in the Supreme Court.
SP, was the President's position against foreign land ownership made it more acceptable to you yung Chacha?
Oo, kasi definitely kung nilagay natin yung land ownership dyan, pati tayo dito sa Senado, wala tayong makukuhan. Siguro, iilan lang papabor, baka dalawa lang, o baka wala. Wala pa akong nakakausap dito na pabor sila sa land ownership ng dayuhan. Kasi alam mo naman sinong bibili lang nandyan. Kung hindi, yung ating mga kapitbahay na nang gustong manggulo